All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about more right triangle trigonometry. We're going to be using SOHCAHTOA again, but we'll be using it this time in a different way. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be showing you how to complete the assignment. The assignment is titled Right Triangle Trig. Missing side, and this is a Delta Math assignment. Okay, so we're going to be using trig to find a side. That's going to be our goal for today. Now you might say, well, why wouldn't we just use Pythagorean theorem to find the missing side of a triangle? Well, I'll tell you the reason that we're not going to be able to use the Pythagorean theorem here is we're only going to know one side. And so Pythagorean theorem requires you know two of the three sides. You could find the missing third side in a right triangle. We're only going to know one side. First, let's review SOHCAHTOA. So if you remember from the last video, there are three trigonometric functions. There is the sine of x, which is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. There is the cosine of x, and that is equal to the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. And there is the tangent of x, which is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. Okay, so that's where we got SOHCAHTOA. Remember, you want to write that SOHCAHTOA down on your piece of paper. Okay, so the first thing we need to review before we start talking about SOHCAHTOA is how to do this in the calculator. Remember, x is an angle. So since x is an angle that we're dealing with, we need to go check our calculator. So I've pulled up the Calculate 84 app. You can pull up your graphing calculator. It's all going to be the same. And what you want to do is you want to click the mode button. And you want to go down and you want to make sure that degree is highlighted. Okay, you want to make sure that degree is highlighted. It should be third down. Degree mode is where we're in. That is because our angles are in degrees. You may remember from a few months ago, we did talk about the conversion from radian to degree mode, but today we want to make sure that for today's lesson, we're in degree mode. So if your calculator is not already in degree mode, go please put it in degree mode. Okay, from there you can quit out and we have our blank screen. Now, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, 5 if you start from the top, 5 rows down in the middle, you're going to see the buttons sine, cosine, and tangent. Those are 3 buttons on your calculator. So if I want, I could plug in sine and find what the sine of 30 degrees is. I could hit enter and it'll tell me it's 0.5. I could find, the cosine of 45 degrees and it's 0.707. I could find the tangent of 6. All right, so let's see what we can do here with this now that we have this information. So what we have is we have a decent amount of ability to use these now, but how can I use these, just plugging these buttons into the calculator, to solve some right triangle trig questions? Well, let's go to our Delta Math assignment and take a look. All right, so they've actually drawn the picture here for us, which is really nice. So we're going to copy this picture down to our notes. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we've got OPN. All right, so our first example here, I've got triangle OPN. I know that that's 90 degrees. And I know that I've got x, 18, and 15. Okay, so I've got x, 18, and 15 degrees. Okay, so now what we want to do is we need to correctly start by identifying what trig ratio we're going to use. Are we going to use sine? Are we going to use cosine? Or are we going to use tangent? So the first thing that we want to do here is we want to label the three sides of our triangle. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, we're dealing with this side we know that we don't know anything about. That's going to be our hypotenuse because it's opposite the 90-degree angle. They've clearly labeled the 15-degree angle here, so the side opposite that 15-degree angle is going to be the x. So the x is going to be the value for opposite. And next to that 15-degree angle is the number 18, so that side will be our adjacent side. So now that I have all my sides labeled, what two sides do I know? I know the opposite side and I know the adjacent side. Okay, those are the two values that I actually have values for, right? I know what x is, I know what 18 is. I have no labels here. I don't have a variable, I don't have a number on the hypotenuse, so we're not going to use that. Okay, so now of the three trig functions, sine, cosine, or tangent, which one uses opposite and which one uses adjacent? And we could see that for our purposes here, tangent uses opposite and adjacent. So we're going to use the tangent function to solve this problem. So the tangent of x is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. Okay, so with the tangent of x being equal to the opposite over the adjacent, let's fill in some values. Our angle x, okay, our angle x, so let me just change colors here to show you where we're putting values in for. So our angle is 15 degrees. So I'm going to put that 15 in the parentheses. Our opposite side is x, and our adjacent side is 18. And I'm going to leave this here. So now all I got to do is solve this for x. Now I'm going to put this tangent of 15 over 1 here because I know that I'm looking for x, and so I'm going to have to cross multiply. Now, what's really nice about this here is that I don't have to go to my calculator just yet. Tangent of 15 is going to be a value in the calculator, okay? I'll go there real quick just to show you. I can type in the tangent of 15, and it might be a decimal, but I'm going to get a value. Now, we can see that we're going to get a decimal that doesn't end, so let's just double check here. We can go back to our problem and see that it asks us to round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so going back to our notes here, we're going to cross multiply. And so I get 18 times the tangent of 15 is 1 times x. So x is going to be equal to 18 times the tangent of 15. Now I can go ahead and just plug this right into my calculator. Okay, so 18 times the tangent of 15. And I get 4.823. Okay, 4.823. And I asked me to round to the nearest tenth, so I go to the 10th place, I look to the hundredths, it's less than 5, so I get 4.8. So let's go ahead and see if we can plug that answer in and see how it goes. Again, no units, just 4.8. We're going to submit answer, and we could get this correct. Okay, so you see here, they show you exactly how to walk through this question. Okay, step by step, they show you exactly what to do. Okay, let's try a different question. So we're going to come up to this question here, and we have triangle KLJ. Okay, so right triangle KLJ, and we have x, 8, and 76. Okay, so same step as last time. The first thing that we need to do here is label our sides. Opposite the 90-degree angle is the hypotenuse, meaning the hypotenuse is 76. Our angle is x, so this side will be opposite it. And next to it will be our adjacent side, which is labeled x. So we have the hypotenuse and the adjacent. So this is our second example here. So we have the hypotenuse and we have the adjacent side that we're working with. Okay, so with that hypotenuse and that adjacent side that we're working with, which trig ratio uses hypotenuse and adjacent? So of all the ones we have, the one that uses hypotenuse and adjacent is this one here. So we get cosine. So we're going to set up cosine of x is equal to the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. Okay, so we're going to now plug in. Okay, so the angle is 8, just 8 degrees. So we're going to plug in the cosine of 8. The adjacent side is x, and the hypotenuse is 76. I'm going to put the cosine of 8 over 1, and I'm going to cross multiply. Okay, so what I get when I cross multiply is 76 times the cosine of 8 is equal to x. And so I can go ahead now and I can plug this into my calculator. 76 times the cosine of 8. And I get 75.260. Let's see what they asked me to round to. They asked me to round to the nearest tenth again. So 75.3. Okay, 75.3. We can go to our Delta Math assignment and we can plug in, we can submit the answer, and we can see that we get full credit here. All right, so nice job, we got full credit, and again, it details exactly how to solve this. So you have both the video and you can go through the example problems, okay? So we're using trig to find the missing side of a triangle. Last time we were just setting up our SOHCAHTOA ratios. This time we're actually going to be able to solve for the missing side. Again, make sure you go through that part where you put your calculator in degree mode. That's going to be very important. So make sure you put your calculator in degree mode. All right, that's it for this video. We'll see you next time.